Is your home sitting on the market? Are you frustrated? Are you pissed off at your agent? Right? These are all things I see when a home's sitting on a market, and I know how that seller feels. But today we're going to talk about the top 3 things why your home's sitting on the market. Deferred maintenance. Are weeds overgrown in your yard? Do you have like weeds coming up through your cobblestone driveway? Do you have like weeds growing up throughout the rocks in your front plantation? Like, that looks like shit. Of course, when buyers walk up to your house, the first thing they want to see is a nice, well-maintained front yard, curb appeal. And that's just the start of it. That's just as you're walking up to the house. You get inside. Does it have a fresh coat of paint? Does like your kid's handprint up there when they got muddy at the football game and go up and put their hand on the wall and you like didn't even wipe it off? Like, these are things that need to be taken care of if you want your home to show in the best light. While we're talking about lighting, do you walk into your house and it feels like a morgue because it's not bright and like you can see what the hell you're doing? There's so many homes I go and turn the light on and it's like, I guess it's on. I mean, you don't even know if the damn light's on because there's no change in the freaking color of the room. So you need to make sure you have like nice halogen bulbs in there or LED bulbs to make sure that that house is airy and open and bright as possible. Another thing we want to talk about when we're talking about deferred maintenance is the big 3. Your air conditioner, your roof, and your hot water heater. These are things that are going to come up. These are the first questions any buyer coming through your home is going to ask their agent. How old's the roof? How old's the hot water heater? How old's the air conditioner? You know, if you have an air conditioner made by Sylvania, who made air conditioners, believe it or not, I know they're a TV company, back in the 70s, right? We probably are going to have an issue with that potential buyer. Also, your hot water heater. You need to make sure that thing's at, less than 15 years old. If not, it's going to become an insurance issue when it's time to get financing. So those 2 things, and then your roof. If you walk up to the house and you can just like see your shingles crumbling and there's absolutely 0 granulars on the roof, like that is going to be a red flag right off the bat. I mean, I've had buyers get out of the car, look at the roof, get back in the car. They don't even go in the house. That was enough. Like, that roof, I'm out of here. So many times I've had the conversation with my sellers because their hot water heater may be 20 years old. There's nothing wrong with it, Mark. It works just fine. It doesn't leak. I've never taken a cold shower in here. It doesn't matter because the age of it is what matters to the insurance company. They're not going to write a brand new home insurance policy on a hot water heater that's 20 years old. They're just not going to do it. Then I have to explain to the sellers that, yes, I understand you have a current policy, but they're not going to come and send somebody out to your house to check the age. You're just going to renew year over year, and it's never going to come up until it's time to sell. And that new owner is going to have to get their insurance. They do what's called a 4-point inspection. So they're checking the roof, the HVAC, the electrical, and the plumbing. Part of the plumbing is that hot water heater and the age of it. So you need to make sure that you get that hot water heater changed out prior to going on the market or plan for it when it's time for negotiations. So most of the time when we're doing a walkthrough with our sellers before we take a listing, we're looking at the age of the air conditioner, we're looking at the age of the hot water heater, and we're pulling the permits to see what the age of the roof is. This way, we're having a conversation with our seller on the front end about these 3 things because guess what? They're most likely going to come up. If they don't come up before listing, they're going to come up on inspection. So do you want to like find out about it like after the inspection because your agent didn't know what they were doing and weren't able to tell you about this prior to listing the house? So this is a core value, proactive versus reactive. We have the tough conversation with you up front so that way there's no surprises down the road. And that's what leads to all of our great reviews because we're going above and beyond for our clients. The other big reason your home is not selling is price. I know you don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. Most of the homes that don't get an offer very quickly or that sit on the market for a long period of time, it's either 2 things. It's condition or price. And right now in a market that's not necessarily slam, oh my God, we're going into a recession or we're going into a downward market, but we're going into a slower market, right? And the slower market, you gotta make sure that you're pricing your property accordingly. You can't base your price on what your neighbor's house sold for 6 months ago. It's just not gonna work in this market. You need to be looking at the active listings that are out there. What's my competition today? And price it accordingly based on what else is out there, because you want other buyers that are coming to the property to pick your home to see. If there's 10 houses on the market, all same, similar size, color, neighborhoods, all this stuff, like which ones are they gonna pick first? They're probably gonna pick the one with the best price, right? So, your marketing is very important when selling a home, but pricing is a big factor when it comes to all marketing.
Are there updates you can do to increase the ROI and get the price closer to what you want? Is there actual things that you could actively do? Because if, let's say, someone's stubborn, they want a price closer to this 400,000, but they're saying 360 is the most they could get. Like, how do you get it to 380? Like, how do you move it?
From 360 to 380, you spend 10 grand. So you can spend 10 grand to possibly make 20, right? And for a lot of sellers, it doesn't make a lot of sense because they don't want to go through the hassle of it, right? We offer some of these suggestions to our sellers, but most of the time they choose the easier, softer way, and ultimately that results in a lower sales price. Because who wants to have their kitchen countertops ripped out right before they're moving? I've had a lot of sellers say, why would I pay for somebody else's countertops? Well, I understand that 100%, but guess what? Somebody else isn't gonna pay you for having new countertops when you didn't put them in, right? So your offer price is gonna be coming lower because you haven't done some of these upgraded items, right? Kitchens, bathrooms, front door, lighting, flooring. These are all things that typically, if a home is priced right, if you make some of those improvements, like they will add value that you can see a return on your investment, but your initial pricing has to be accurate, right? You can't be saying, I want 400,000, but you have none of those features. If we add all those features and now you want to get 450, but the comps are only showing 400, you weren't realistic with your initial starting price. We've had multiple sellers this year that we had to say, you know what? I'm not gonna take your listing because they were unrealistic where their initial price was. And we're gonna see more and more of that, right? As this market goes through its transition.